my name is Deanna. I'm showing you today a haircut with a short fringe in the front of the area with a one length in the back. So this is the parting. I don't want too much hair in the front because I want to create a short fringe up to the lip of the area. I will be graduating so it can fit into the motif of the haircut. This is the parting from the front area. It's a diagonal parting from the front of the hair into a diagonal parting onto the side. So the first parting I will be doing to start the haircut is a diagonal parting. You don't want to go too crazy to make an extreme diagonal. What I'm doing is wetting down the hair to get even porosity. My first cut will be to the lip area. Now also, when you first make the first cut, you always have to measure. Am I at to the lip area, which I am. So what I'm gonna do, in this case scenario, I'm gonna lift it up slightly because I don't want a lot of bulk in this area. Exactly. So, you know, the parting should be in between the middle of the ear. There's a little bit more bulk than I want. So what I'm going to do is elevate the area just to take off the excess weight. So make sure that it falls really perfect. Then you really want to see where you're where it's falling, actually manipulating the hair to go into a nice sort of from short to long. My next parting will be the same. Not doing too much of a diagonal. So you don't want it to be too pointy in the front of the area. I will start with the second section, lifting up slightly higher than I did the first section. You want to see where you are. Here's my first section, slightly higher, the same thing that I'm doing. It's looking pretty good so far. A little bulky, but what I'll do is, once you do, you can lift it up after you do a flat parting to make sure that all the excess weight, you don't want it too bulky. You want a nice streamline into the hair. You also want to see whether you're perfect. Don't be afraid to take out the bulk. The next section, I'm going also around the head. Like I said, not pronouncing too much of a diagonal, making sort of that kind of parting in here. And it's not a complicated haircut, but there has to be a technique. Just like putting on your makeup. You're not going to just put on your foundation without a moisturizer. So what I'm going to do is now, again, lifting up a little bit higher than the previous section. Need a little bit more water in here. So it's a little bit bulky in here. I'm going to take out some of the bulk later in the haircut, which I will do right now. I'm going to be lifting it up, directing over my fingers to take out the rest of the bulk. Making sure it lies nice and narrow. So it's at the end of this haircut, it's going to be amazing when we fluff it up and use a product. So now what I'm doing is also, again, the apex over here, but near the forehead. I will also, same technique, taking it square, a little bit higher than the previous section, lifting it down, get a nice lovely part there. And now, so after you do that, you can also lift it up over your finger, take out the excess weight. Just don't want that to be too bulky in that area. So as you can see, it's short to long. Now I'm going to take another section in here. So this will be my guideline. It's right about right around here to the top of the middle, well, towards the middle of the eyebrow. What I'm going to do again now is make sure that this is taken out. We don't need that to interfere in the line. Never take a section, always clean sections, so you'll be able to really follow your guideline. If you don't have a guideline, you're not going to be able to produce the look. So again, what I'm going to do, again, lifting it up slightly higher than my previous section. Manipulating the hair, always see what you're doing. Never do another cut without seeing what's formulating into your haircut. So I think this is okay in here, because actually when we're doing the short bang, we're going to connect. So I feel like this is so much bulk in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it, I'm going to eliminate the bulk of the hair. And if it's still too much, it's sitting nicely, but I want to eliminate also this area in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag every single section that I've taken up, making that clear section. So slightly elevating up, so I'm taking, so to make sure that all the bulk is taken out in the hair. Usually I would be doing it to the other, in the other side, but you won't be able to see me over directing. From short to long, alleviating all the weight. Let's see what it's doing. I'm liking that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start from this area, making it from a shorter. So as you can see, I've created a shorter to longer area. Now I'm going to also go in again to see any excess weight. Don't be afraid to cut off excess weight. You want it to be thinner on the frame of the head. You don't want it to be a bulky frame. Exhaust your technique before you start pointing and doing other things that really destroy the shape of the haircut. Always go back to see where you are. And this is looking pretty good. When this dries a little bit, I'm going to connect from short to long into that area. Now I'm going to go do the other section and I will come back to show you the fringe area. So I've cut the first part of the haircut online, did the other section to match the previous section, just to save some time. Now I'm coming up to the front of the fringe area. So I've made a parting, a round parting into the front. And I'm going to proceed to cut this square. So what I'm going to do is taking this guideline that I have from the front, but not matching, doing it a little bit longer than the previous, this area. Let's see if we have the correct I think it needs to be a little bit shorter, but not too much so. Holding your fingers out square, no fancy. Okay. Proceeding to cut the rest in the same manner, square. Following the direction. All sides, cutting it square. These mannequins tend to have a little bit more hair in the front. A lot of hair, heavy hair in the front of the mannequin. So now I'm going to proceed to actually taking the bulk out of this area here. So I'm going to get a wispy, more a wispy effect. Still holding my fingers square. Lifting it up to the fullest, square. Use a little bit more softness in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking the next section, taking another square, round graduation parting. There you go. There's my second section. I'm taking a little bit of parting at a time because it's such a heavy area here in these models that have a lot of hair in the front. Wetting it down, making sure it's thoroughly wet. Again, proceed. Now on this one, this is going to be a 3-level bang area. But on this one, I'm finishing the front here, so I'm going to follow my first section. And then I will be going longer, a finger's length longer on my next section. Taking a square pattern. Lifting it up. Making sure that everything is clean and in one. Saving the sides in here, so that's really what saves the haircut, is just saving the sides in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm also coming from the back area again, taking all the weight out of here. You could also lift this up right away, but I don't want to do that because I'm showing the haircut precise. And lifting it down. So now you have like a shorter base underneath, giving it some texture in the front area, making sure that everything matches up. which now I'm already getting a piecier type of fringe area. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to go to the end of my parting, which is here. Now, if you want to know where exactly you take the parting from, you can place a comb in there, and if it's flat, it starts from that area in here, so you know the guideline. So now I'm taking another round section. Now I'm going to start doing a triple fringe. That means shorter and then longer, laying down on a longer pattern and taking small sections. Don't rush. Don't rush the haircut, but if you rush the haircut, it's just going to be bulky. Taking this out of the way. Always take the rest of the hair out of the way. Making sure it's a perfect round sectioning. Now on this piece, making sure it's wet at all times, because the porosity of the hair is going to be different if it's not wet. If you're doing a piece dry, it was going to be cut in the wrong way. So now I'm taking another section, finger's length, a little bit longer than my previous section. A little bit longer, not that much, it's too much. You can always gauge it and go back in, or don't be afraid. So now you're seeing a little bit more of a double fringe in here. Again, completely holding it square. So the round parting, and then I'm doing the square line. Again, alleviating. I like it to be nice and all the bulk being taken out. Exhaust the system before you start point cutting and doing everything else. But do not cut this corner off, because the corner is the haircut. The corner is the whole haircut. A lot of people tend to want to even it off, but that's not what we're doing in this haircut. So making sure that all the weight is taken out. It's okay if you go over it. Always look at what you're doing. Stand outside the hair cutting. Watch what you're doing. Watch how the hair is falling. So now you could already see this texture building up. So now I'm taking another graduation until we end. We exhaust all the hair in the back area. So that's my second fringe. And this is all going to be a third fringe, which is shorter, longer, and then longer over to the next section. Making sure the hair is all wet. The same thing, making sure it's square. Now, also square in the hands of the fingers, a lot of tension. Finger width. You can see that the bottom falling out, so you actually know you're doing the right thing. Still, that's a little too long for me, so I'll go back in, lifting it up. Continuing Following your guideline from the other side. Dropped my comb. Following your guideline from the other side. Lifting it up, square line. The square line is, this is the area that we want to keep. You could already see the triple fringe coming in. It's not difficult haircut. It's just you really have to know technique. Taking all of that bulk out again. So you see, there's one layer and then there's a second layer. It's called the triple fringe. So it's one shorter and then it goes longer and then it goes longer over the previous. Again, straight back. Taking out all the bulk. Make sure your sectioning is precise. You don't have to rush. Don't rush this haircut because it's a technical haircut, and if it's not precise, it's just not going to be right. So now you see it falling into place, which I'm loving. There's 2 more sections to go in here. Not disturbing my pattern. Splitting that in the middle and around graduation one more time. And then we'll have the last bit here to continue. But you see how fine my sections are. They're not these big bulky sections. Making sure that's completely out of the picture. Now wetting it again. Also, with the skinnier tooth, wide tooth, the tooth comb, because it grabs all of the hair. The wide one will leave a little bit more density in here in the hair. We don't want that. So again, fingers length, a little bit longer. Following my section, having this as a guideline that I just cut previously. Also, again, taking all the bulk area, pulling back a little forward so we're not cutting too much of the bulk out, because then we'll disturb the triple fringe in the haircut. It's a visual, it's technical, but it's also a visual. You have to understand what you're doing. You have to have an idea before you start cutting someone's hair. A technique, an idea. So I'm really loving this. Now we're taking the last section here. As you can see, all the amazing. I'm going to blend these, I'm going to blend this all in here in a minute. As soon as I finish this one piece. Again, now you could leave this one length. You can take that. You don't have to continue taking bulk out or anything like that. But that's not what I'm going to do this time. Again, holding it flat, square, a finger's length a little bit longer than the previous. If you don't, you know, that I'm doing it a little too long, so I'm going to go over it again. As you can see, again, with a lot of tension, put a lot of tension into the haircut. If you use tension in one part of the haircut and you don't use tension in another part of the haircut, the line will be different because of the tension not being the same. And he wiped her little face off. So, and we're getting there. So now what I want to do is I want to blend again. I want to take all of the bulk out. So I'm over directing a little because I don't want to remove the weight that had already put into the third tier. So there's 3 tiers of this bang area. Going to match it over directing, like I said, so because I don't want to take all the bulk out that I've already, the tiers that I've already put into the hair already, that would defeat the purpose of doing this haircut. So now what I want to do is, so I want to make sure that, so when I release this in the back here, it's going to be one length in the back. You can layer the back, you can do whatever you want in the back area. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that all the 3 tiers are connected. Not connected, but they have some kind of a blend area. They're blending together. You want to direct everything forward. You can see all the tiers in here. You want to start chipping. What 1, 2, 3. You want to go in deeply, but not just go in and out. You want to make sure that you alleviate and blend the layers together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're really going into that area. So it's creating something beautiful for me, and I'm loving it. Again. Just don't go on the surface of it. Really, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going into the whole base of the haircut. Still, I think there's a little unevenness in the front area. I want to blend those in together. What you can do now, coming from the back area, I don't know if you can see that. Again, continue your point cutting. And just don't do lightly. Go in probably around like 3, 4, 5 times. Cutting into the base, making sure that you have a nice little fringe area. coming from the back. It's usually a better way to do it from the back area. So this is the final outcome. So basically I went back in here and really chipped out, connecting the 3 tiers together, but not really connecting, just so there's no long pieces in there as a fringe. But I mean, also you can wear it like this. This is the length in the front, which I really, really, really love. It gives you diversity. You can wear your hair back and you have something, you know, to actually dress your hair differently. But I do love it like this. Also, you know, you can wear it any way you want to wear it, which I'm loving. I'm telling you, if you've gotten this haircut in real life, you put product in it, some paste or anything like that, it will really stand up for you. But I just want to show you the detailing here. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you watch me more. Please like my video, and I will be continuing to show you more interesting haircuts. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.